Again, my name is Gwen Sorley, and today we're going to talk about healthy habits to improve executive function. I hope by the end of this webinar, you have at least a couple of things that you can incorporate into your life today that will help lead you to improved executive function. And I think that it is an important time to talk about different steps that we can take in order to do this, because usually in the beginning of a new year, we all have new goals in mind. We have a goal that we want to reach by the end of the year. Maybe we want to start incorporating some new healthy habits. If you would, go ahead and type in the chat box, what are your goals for 2023? Or what are some of the healthy habits you have wanted to start incorporating this year? If you have any of those things in your mind, you can just type them in that chat box to share some of your goals or your healthy habits that you're going to try. And we probably are all working on new healthy habits. Maybe we're going to eat healthier or start going to the gym or spending more time outside because we want a clearer mind. We want to be more productive. We want to nurture and improve some of our relationships. Maybe we want to improve our emotion regulation. Let's look at some. Jeannie says she is work on designing greeting cards. Excellent. Carol says, complete my ADHD Performance Accelerator card deck. Wow, you all have some great projects going on. Matthew, work 4 days per week instead of 5. Matthew, I love that goal. I would love to do that as well. Melissa is going to start doing yoga. Chris says 30 minutes of walking. Good. And I like how you have a really specific goal. Excellent. Dolores, to use a daily agenda and follow the tasks along with celebrating when tasks are completed. Twice a week, take an afternoon recess time. Very good. Very specific too. Carol says, get enough sleep and get up on time every day. Sleep hygiene. Excellent. We've been talking a lot about that, Carol, throughout the year. So I'm glad you brought that up as well. Donna says, do more for myself. Spending time outside and getting in shape. Margot, exercise, consistency, lose weight, declutter the house. Patricia also wants to work on her sleep and go to bed earlier, get a better sleep. And we are going to talk about sleep later in this presentation as well. Percival says, be able to tolerate longer periods of work, other tasks, emotion regulation, be able to handle multiple ongoing projects. So Percival, you have a lot of goals that are processes within executive function. So we are going to really focus on those healthy habits that will help you reach those goals. Sergi, good to see you, Sergi. It says, I want to lose weight by control what I consume daily plus 3, what I consume daily plus visit 3 times per week. Do you mean visit the gym 3 times a week? What are you going to visit 3 times a week? Nikki says, creating strategies for to-do lists, second brain system, healthy eating, try as many different creative types as possible to find out what I'm drawn to. Excellent. I'm drawn to sculpture, printmaking, etc. Excellent. Very good. And Sergi says, yes, the gym. Chris says, I would like to try and take on tasks and not feel overwhelmed. Very good point. And Stephanie says, be more helpful. That's a good goal. Nikki says, oh, we already read Nikki's. Very good. Okay, well, they're all coming in, but I do appreciate you sharing some of your goals. And I think what we talk about today, the tips that we give today are really going to help you reach your goals. So again, we are going to be interactive today. So make certain you have a piece of paper and something to write with. And we're going to start off with an exercise, a writing exercise. So what I want you to do is take that piece of paper and I want you to draw a line down the center of that paper. So you have 2 columns, okay? Now, on the first column, I'm going to give you 15 seconds, probably 20. I'm going to give you about 20 seconds on the clock, and I want you to write down all of your strengths. What are your positive characteristics in that left-hand side? Just your positive characteristics. Okay, ready and begin. Okay, and stop. All right, now you have another column. So in the next column, for another 15 seconds or so, I want you to write down all of your weaknesses or things you want to improve. Ready? Begin. And stop. Okay, now I want you to put your pencils down or your pens down. And I have a question for you. And I want you to type your answer in the chat box. If you look at your two columns, is your list longer on the positive side or the negative side? If you look at your two columns and just type in the chat box, is your list longer on the positive side or the negative side? Or as Chris says, it's pretty even. All right, I just am taking a quick poll to see what you said. Nikki says exactly the same as well. All right, excellent. So we have a mixed group of answers. I'm surprised that a lot of you said they're pretty equal. Some of you said more positives, but most of you replied that you have more answers or a longer list on the negative side. And that is very typical. It is very typical for us to gravitate towards the negative. Our brain typically goes towards the negative. And you may see this in our day-to-day, right? That you might be an individual that goes to worst case scenario, right? You get in your car and your car doesn't start, and the worst case scenario comes to your mind. You think, oh, I'm not going to be able to get to work. I'm going to have to call a tow truck. The tow truck's never going to get to me. When it does get to me, it's going to take my car to the shop, and then it's going to be huge repair costs. Instead of thinking, I bet it's just a dead battery, I just need it jumped, you go to the extreme worst case scenario, right? Many of us have a habit of doing that. I was reading a yoga book, and one of my favorite quotes is, our lives are a series of unfortunate events. Our life is a series of unfortunate events that have never happened, right? That we have all of these bad things we think are going to happen, and most of the time, none of those things happen. So it is very common for us to go to worst case scenario. Or you may ask someone how their day went, and they tend to list off all of the negative things that happened that day. So it is very common for our brain to do that. The problem with doing that is that when you fixate on negative thoughts about yourself or about your experiences, you're actually strengthening the neural pathways that create negative thinking. You are actually making new neural pathways to have a negative mindset. And a negative mindset is not conducive to strong executive function. If you have a negative mindset, then it is very difficult for you to focus. It negatively impacts your memory. You may have a hard time prioritizing or organizing or completing tasks because of that negative thought process. And so we have to take an active role in changing our mindset from a very negative mindset to a positive mindset. And it does take our active engagement in order to do this, because the brain does process negative information differently than positive information. Dr. Hansen, who is a neuropsychologist and the author of Hardwiring Happiness, states that the brain is like Velcro for negative experiences and Teflon for positive experiences, meaning that when we have a negative experience, it tends to stick to us, right? It tends to stick with us, just like Velcro. But when we have positive experiences, it's easy for us to let them just slip away. And there is an actual biological reason for this. If we take a look at the amygdala is part of the brain which acts as your alarm system. And it spends about 2/3 of its neurons seeking out negative information, bad news. And when it comes across that negative information or bad news, an alarm system goes off for you. And this was a really important process when, we were hunters and gatherers, right? Because if we had a really bad experience with a saber-toothed tiger, we wanted that experience to go immediately into our long-term memory so that we could recall what happened, so we wouldn't make the same mistakes. And that's what the amygdala does. It takes that negative information, it alerts you, it puts on that alarm system, and then it immediately shifts that information into your long-term memory. And this is very different to positive information. It actually takes us 12 seconds. We have to actively pay attention. We have to hold that positive information in our awareness for a full 12 seconds in order for it to shift into our long-term memory. So think about that. Negative information, bad news immediately goes into your memory system. But with positive information, we have to actually engage. We have to focus on that information for a 12-second period of time in order for it to shift into our long-term memory. So what can we do? What is one thing that we can do in order to change our minds from a negative mindset to a positive mindset? Because there are many health benefits when you have a positive mindset. One of which we already talked about, it's going to help support strong executive function. But a positive mindset also increases your lifespan, lower rates of depression, lower levels of distress, greater resistance to the common cold. So you can actually boost your immune system with positive thinking, better psychological and physical well-being, better cardiovascular health, and of course, better coping skills during hardships and times of stress. So one activity that we can do to wire yourself, wire your brain to think more positively is to start your day with positive affirmations. Positive affirmations are a way you can start creating that positive mindset, creating those new neural pathways that will give you a positive state of mind. Regular repetition encourages your brain to take positive information as fact. And if you believe in your capabilities, if you believe in your skills, then it is more likely that you will take action on that. So I want to talk to you about how you can actually start doing positive affirmations. And what I recommend is that you do this activity just upon waking up. This can be one of your habits that you start incorporating. And it doesn't have to take long. Maybe designate about 3 to 5 minutes upon waking to do your affirmations. And you want to repeat each affirmation about 10 times. Because remember, again, in order for us to actually take it as fact and to really move it into our memory system, then we have to focus on it for a good 12 seconds. So repeat each affirmation about 10 times and listen to yourself as you say it. Focus on the words as you move, as they leave your mouth. As you say them, believe them to be true. Or you can ask a trusted loved one to help. Listening to someone else repeat your affirmations may help reinforce your belief in them. And of course, make it consistent. With any good habit, we have to have that consistency. So you want to start every morning, just starting with a few minutes in the morning and making it a habit. Be patient because, of course, changes don't happen overnight. So this is going to take time. And action is key. Repeating an affirmation can help boost your motivation and confidence, but you have to still take action on that, right? You can believe, let's say you have a job interview tomorrow, and you can wake up and do your affirmations, and you believe that you are the best person for that job. You can have all of the positivity about your skill set and your ability to impress those who will be doing the interview with you, and that you are the best candidate. However, even though you believe all those things and you believe you are the right person for the job and the best person that they can hire for that position, you still have to take action, right? You still have to prepare for the interview. You still have to show up for the interview on time. So you do have to take action. Now, your belief in yourself and your abilities is going to help you take that action. So they really do go hand in hand. Lori says, wow, and we already have issues with working memory. And I'm assuming, Lori, you're talking about individuals with ADHD or weak executive function. And that's true. So that's why I say that you have to be actively engaged in this process, because there are a lot of things that negatively affect memory and negatively affect working memory specifically. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as well. Now, with that affirmation in mind, I also wanted to mention, because many of you here today are current clients, and I wanted to share Stephanie's comment because Stephanie said that her 8-year-old is here with her and they are new to play attention. So I think you are not new. Let's see, my 8-year-old is on with me and said that we are new with play attention, no school today because of storms. So Stephanie, I'm glad you are here and I'm glad your child is here. And we're excited to have you as part of the play attention family. So I did want to mention, for all of you who are current play attention clients, we just released this month our mindful media player. And with our mindful media player, we have a positive affirmations media library. So with our mindful media player, remember, you have to have your body wave technology on. Now, if you have not yet started play attention, there are 3 sensors on the body wave technology. And so this simply rests on your arm, and those sensors monitor your brain activity that tells us how attentive you are, or in this case, how well you're doing keeping your mind in the present moment. And with our media player, you can import different types of media files, whether it's video files or audio files. You can import those into your media player. And as long as your mind is in the present moment, the media actually will play. The video will play or the audio file will play. If you start to think about when's my next meeting, what do I have to prepare for work? Or if you're a child and you start thinking about what do I have for homework and you leave the present moment, then the video or the audio will stop, wait for you to come back into the present moment, and then begin again. So we're enhancing your mindfulness practice. We're enhancing your affirmation practice by giving you immediate feedback and allowing you to actually control that activity with your mind alone, because you are using your body wave technology along with that. If you're a current client and you want more information on that, you can put in media player and we'll follow up with you to discuss that a little bit further. But again, with that, we have a new mindfulness media library that you can subscribe to, and you can actually download gratitude, affirmations, and breathing exercises, and you can import those into your media player. All right. Now, I want to go back to your paper, and I want you to write down, I'll give you another 15 seconds or so, write down the first 4 things you do every morning. Go ahead and do that on your paper. All right, and stop. So you should have at least the first 4 things you do every morning. In order, I said, okay. So now I want you to raise your hand. There's a raise your hand icon, or just type in yes if one of those 4 things is check my phone, check my email, check my social media, watch the news. How many of you? You can raise your hand, use the raise your hand icon, or type in yes if that's you. Percival says, used to do that. All right, a lot of you are raising your hands. And this is very common, right? Because checking our email, checking our text messages, checking our social media, it's pretty addictive, right? A lot of us are addicted to constantly checking our phones. However, the difficulty with that is when you start your day, when you wake up in the morning and you immediately check your phone, check your texts, check your WhatsApp, you are allowing other people and media and advertisement to direct your thoughts and your mood for the day. So in the morning, remember, we want to limit the distractions and unnecessary stress, because a lot of times when you check your email, it's not someone saying, hi, I just wanted to say, I hope you have a great day, right? It's something you have to take care of, or it's something that may stress you a bit. So it's okay to put that off. Try to start your day with that positive mindset. Create and set the mood for the day. And in order to do that, it's really important that we avoid the stress and the distractions that we get from our phone or our social media. Okay? So why don't you start thinking about revamping your morning routine? Because a positive morning routine will actually lead to a more focused, productive, successful day. So there are some steps you can take, and there are many benefits to a slow morning. It will reduce your daily stress. It allows you time to gather your thoughts uninterrupted, gives you quiet time to get into that positive state of mind, and gives your mind and body transition time. So let's talk about the steps you can take in order to revamp your morning routine. First of all, you have to give yourself time, right? Because many of us are waking up exactly when we have to wake up, right? But by that time, we have to get going, right? We have to get the kids ready. We have to help our partner with something. So there's already too many things going on. So instead of getting up at the very last second, why don't you set your alarm for 15 minutes or 20 minutes or maybe even 30 minutes, maybe even 60 minutes eventually, where you can have uninterrupted time? Okay. So first of all, you have to give yourself that time. Now, start small, like we talked about. Start small and then gradually build yourself up. So maybe give yourself 10 minutes, maybe then give yourself 20, then 40, then 60. Maybe you don't need to go a full hour, but if you can, and if you'd like to, that would be great as well. Then you want to think about developing your morning tradition. So we know that we're going to start 3 to 5 minutes with our positive affirmations to start developing that positive mindset. But then what are you going to do? It could be as simple as just having a quiet cup of tea. It could be reading your favorite novel. Maybe you're going to do some yoga. Maybe you're going to do some breathing exercises. Maybe you're going to get on your bike and you're going to do some biking, take a morning walk, take the dog out, whatever it may be. Develop your morning tradition. And once you create that morning tradition, protect it. Make certain that everyone else in the household knows that this is your time and this is important for you. And this is what you're going to do. You also, and I'm going to move my head a little bit here, prepare the night before as much as possible, right? Because if we can prepare the night before, if we can get backpacks ready, briefcases ready, if we can set up some emails to automatically go out in the morning so we don't have to deal with that, if we can get out our clothes that we're going to wear the next day, pack our lunches, whatever it may be, that's going to save time in the morning. That will be much better because you know that inevitably, if you are searching for your work assignment or you're searching for backpacks or you're trying to quickly get lunches together, that it just causes stress. So make certain that you prepare as much as possible the night before. And also limit unnecessary distractions. So like I said, try to limit the news in the background. Try to limit your media that's going on in the background, your phone time, your devices. Try to limit all of those distractions that are trying to pull you away from having that calm, slow morning. And again, when you can start with a slow, calm morning, you are setting the tone for your entire day. You are going to be more focused, you're going to be less stressed, and you are going to be more productive. So not only does a positive mindset help with your executive function, but also a slow, calm morning routine. Okay, are you ready for the next exercise? I want you to grab your pen and your paper. And I'm just going to read what Stephanie said. One of the best things I did was eliminate reading the news more than a couple of times a week. Too much negativity. Stephanie, I've done exactly the same thing. Because the news, it's easy to suck you in, and then it is so much negativity. It's important we know what's going on in the world, but I agree with you. It was, and many of you may have found this as well, it's important if you notice that the news is having an impact on you, that you limit that for yourself, because I was exactly the same way, Stephanie, and I've done the exact same thing, and it really does help. So now grab your pen and follow my instructions. We're going to draw simple awareness circles. So don't start yet. I want to give you the entire instruction. So when you have your paper, I want you to just put your pen on the paper, and you're going to, I might be mirroring you, but I want you to go counterclockwise, and I want you to just slowly draw a circle. And I want to make certain that you close that circle so that you are aware of where you're starting and you're focused on where you're ending. So close all the circles, even if your circle looks like an egg. It's okay. We don't have to be perfect. Just close that circle. And as you're doing it, I want you to really be aware of the line as it's drawing. I want you to be aware of the feeling of your hand across the paper. I want you to hear any sounds that your pen or your pencil may be making as you're moving across the paper. And as you're coming down towards the left, I want you to breathe in. And when you get to the base of the circle, I then want you to breathe out until you close the circle. So breathe in and then breathe out, close your circle, and then do another circle. Okay, and let's just try to do this for about 20 seconds or so. Ready? You can go ahead and begin. Counterclockwise. But it's okay if you went the other direction. And stop. Excellent. And Laura says, I love breathing circles. Very good. Thank you for doing that exercise with me. And if you didn't really think about it, you did one exercise that incorporated mindfulness and breathing. And we know that mindfulness, being able to keep your mind in the present moment, and breathing exercises really helps refocus your mind, calm yourself. Chris says that was lovely. So it is just a very simple practice that you can do. And a lot of us have gotten into bad habits where we are not in touch with the present moment. We're constantly distracted. We're constantly rushing. And when you take a moment, even though that was just 20 seconds, just taking that 20 seconds and being mindful and concentrating on your breathing, it can help you transition from one task to another. And this might be a good thing for you to do with your child or your students, where if they have to transition to doing some homework, just take a moment to do those awareness circles and give themselves a time, a period of time where they can calm the mind, calm the body, and transition smoothly into the next exercise. So for all of us who say, I tried to do mindfulness, I don't understand it, I can't do it, or breathing exercises just don't work for me, try to incorporate something very simple like those breathing circles. Start there. There are a lot of other exercises you can do, but you can start really finding different things you can do in your day-to-day that incorporates mindfulness, even mindful eating. That means while you're eating, let's not read the newspaper. Let's not watch television. Let's not check our email or respond to our email or send a text message. Let's just be mindful on the eating process. And we have a lot of mindfulness practices that you can do on a day-to-day basis. We actually, this past summer, we did a 30-day mindfulness challenge. And every day we posted a short mindfulness practice you could do that day. And they typically ranged from about 5 to 15 minutes. If you want access to that library of simple mindfulness practices, type in mindfulness and we will make certain that you get that as well. Now for Stephanie and Jeannie and all of our other current Play Attention clients, it's important to know that we do have a mindfulness practice you can incorporate into your play attention program. So we do have the mindful media player, which is installed separately on your computer. And then we also have the Lotus practice, which is our mindfulness practice. Because, we hear so much about how ADHD helps with this. That mindfulness helps with the symptoms of ADHD. And that's true. However, we cannot simply look at someone with ADHD and say, now I want you to practice mindfulness, because mindfulness is hard. It's hard for all of us, but especially if you have that constant running mind. So what we do within Play Attention is we give you a visual representation of what it means to be in the present moment. So remember, you will have the body wave system on, remember, monitoring your ability to stay in the present moment. And as long as you are in the present moment, you're able to open one of the petals on the lotus flower that you see on the screen. If you start thinking about what's for dinner, when do I have to pick up the kids, what do I have next on my agenda, that petal's going to start to close because you're no longer in the present moment. And you have to bring yourself back in order to continue. And this is Lotus. This is already available within our Play Attention program. Again, we're giving you that visual representation to enhance your mindfulness practice, because a lot of times people will say, I tried mindfulness for 10 minutes, and at the end of the 10 minutes, I realized all I did was write my entire grocery list in my mind. And that's because you never, your mind is going to wander, and that's okay. Recognize that the fact that you're distracted, but then you have to bring yourself back to the present moment. And you never brought yourself back. You just went down that rabbit hole. So by giving you that visual representation, it's like that gentle nudge, getting you back on track. So if you have not incorporated Lotus into your program yet and you'd like to, go ahead and type Lotus. And remember too, if you haven't started your Play Attention program yet and you want to learn more, you can do a consultation with us. You can type in consultation and we'll schedule that with you. Or you can actually come to our next webinar, which is Play Attention 101, where we'll go through a lot of that information. And don't worry, because I'll review all of this at the end as well about next steps. Now, this is exciting too. This is our newest release. It hasn't come out yet, but this is Da Vinci's Candle. And this is going to be available for our Play Attention clients as well, where you actually light the candle and you keep it at a full light as long as you stay in the present moment. So this is Da Vinci's Candle, which will be ready very soon. So if you want to be contacted when that's available, you can type in Da Vinci. That's an exciting one. All right, let's get back to our interactive paper here. And if you could think about yesterday. And on your paper, I want you to list all of the activities other than sleeping, driving, or eating that did not involve a screen. Okay, think about your day yesterday, and I want you to write down all of the activities that you did other than sleeping, driving, or eating that did not involve a screen. Okay, go ahead and write your list. Okay, and stop. All right. Now, on the piece of paper, on your chat box, I would like you to write how many, or type in, how many activities did you list? Let me go back to that. How many activities did you list that did not involve a screen from yesterday? Was it 1? Was it 3? Was it 9? Was it 2? Let me take a quick poll on what you did. How many things you did that did not involve a screen? Carol, 6. Excellent. Chris, 8. Wow. Jeanette, 8 also. Caitlin, 1. Melissa, 1. Nikki says, that's how many I remember. I know there were more, but no idea what. Percival said 5. Margot, 8. Wow, some of you had a lot, 6 to 8, but most of us were right in the 2 to 3 range. We didn't have a lot of exercises that did not involve a screen. So another exercise that we would like to do in order to help improve executive function is to really focus on what's important and let go of the rest. And a lot of times that means unplugging from devices, because devices are a distraction, right? And we don't even realize how much time we spend in front of a screen. So one exercise you might want to do is actually write down your times during a day and really look at the amount of time you are spending on a screen. And it might surprise you how much time is actually spent in front of some type of screen. So when we unplug, it allows us time where we can really focus on what's important. And there are so many health benefits associated with that. Not only does it help us improve our executive function, but it improves our physical health, decreases obesity, increases time to try new activities. And a lot of you here, when we talked about our goals, many of you had some goals where you are going to try new activities, or maybe you're going to learn a new language. It improves your mood, and it also enhances relationships, because of course, when we can decrease that screen time and increase the time we're actually engaged with our loved ones, you're going to enhance your relationships, because there's nothing worse than when you're trying to have a conversation with your friend or your partner or your child, and they're constantly looking at their device. And then they'll go back to their device and listen to a little bit about what you said and then go back to their device. So it is really important that we decrease that screen time in order to really connect with our loved ones and enhance our relationships. So here are some tips on decreasing screen time. Be realistic. If you take the time to document how much time you're spending on screens every day, and it's, let's say, 12 hours, and you say, okay, I'm going to decrease that to 6, that's really not setting yourself up for success. Make certain that you are realistic and then gradually decrease the amount of time. Go outside for just a little bit. As soon as you put your phone down and you go outside and you go for a walk, you are increasing those endorphins, your mood improves, your focus improves, your memory improves, your executive function improves, along with increased green time. So go outside. Create a device-free zone. One of the easiest ways to do that is to have dinner time as a device-free time. I've seen some homes where they have a bag and you have to put your device in the bag and then you can come to the dinner table. So it is really important. And when you put those aside, then you can spend time connecting, sharing, having your child actually talk about the positive things. Remember to help them develop that positive mindset. Maybe instead of saying, how did your day go today? Maybe you'll say, tell me 5 positive things that happened today. You could try that. Have board game night. Board games are a great way to connect. They truly do involve executive function, because you have to focus, you have to control your impulsive responses, you have to use strategy and prioritize. So they are very good at improving executive function. And it also requires you to communicate with others. So have a board game night, maybe with your family or maybe with a group of friends. Just make certain that you have that time where you're sharing and you're having fun, but there's no screen involved. Okay, now we're almost to our very last way to help improve executive function. But for the next 15 seconds, I want you to just list out, when you get hungry in between meals, what do you typically grab to snack? Okay, write down all your snacks in 15 seconds, and you can go ahead and start. Yeah, and you can type them in the chat box too if you want to share in the chat box. All right, and stop. Okay, how many of you, and you can raise your hand or type Y in the chat box, how many of you wrote down something salty, sugary, or processed? Salty, sugary, or processed? Go ahead and raise your hand. Remember, no one can see you. No one can see anything. Percival says, yep. Very good. All right. Oh, many of us. Christine says she's salty. Excellent. Dolores says, love the salt. Jen says sugar. So it's so true, right? When we are in the middle of our day, we typically grab for something really fast or very comforting, and that usually involves something salty, something sugary, or something processed. But we want to talk about eating snacks that provide a powerful brain boost. And those items that have a positive effect on your brain and your executive function are snacks with omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. So if you do eat any of these, or you have some good suggestions, you can type them in the chat box, and I'm going to give you some here. So guacamole with vegetables, that's a good alternative. Almond butter or peanut butter with whole grain crackers. Whole milk plain yogurt with fresh fruit. You know, there are a lot of different types of yogurts. However, you want to go for the whole milk yogurt. So when you look at the ingredient list, it should have 2 ingredients. Sometimes when you get the fruit added, you'll see an ingredient list that's this long. You don't want that. You want to have yogurt. If you want to add your own fruit, do that. You don't need all of the other ingredients that are involved. Nuts and seeds. A lot of you have written down nuts and seeds. And yeah, first of all, yogurt and dried fruits are great. Excellent. And apple and cheese, peanut butter, you all have great ideas. Chris, a brand of yogurt that's like that is if you get Chobani, you know, just the whole milk Chobani that has a very few ingredients. You can find a lot that have very few ingredients, and it's typically just the yogurt that doesn't have any fruit or anything else added. Okay. Also hard-boiled eggs and hummus with veggies. Okay. So you all are including really good ideas. Nikki says, I started doing the yogurt with frozen berries and a drizzle of yogurt as a deconstructed ice cream. That's a great idea. So again, all of these good ideas you have are really going to help with your brain, your cognitive function, and your executive function. So before you reach for something salty or sugary or processed, try to think about items that have omega-3 or omega-6 fatty acids. And it is going to take some prepping, you know, a little bit of meal prep beforehand so that you have things you can quickly grab. All right, one last write down. Oh, no, I have 2. Actually, there's 2 more items that I want you to write down. But right now, I want you to write 3 things you're grateful for. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. Go ahead and start. Nice, Prudence. Good. And you can type them in. All right. go ahead and stop, and you can type in some of your ideas here. Prudence says life. Nikki says my family, my home, my creativity. Percival says stable place to live, food in my fridge, and have a job. Excellent. Prudence says family. Sergi says God, family, health. Chris says therapist, my family, my home. Maggie, granddaughters. Christy, dog, uncle, job. Noah says my cats. Maggie, job. Oh, you all have excellent feedback on this one. And it seems like it came to you very easily. So this is what I want you to incorporate. We're going to start our day with positive affirmations, and we're going to end our day with gratitude. Gratitude means that you're going to take some time to think about all of the positive things in your life. And if you end your day with focusing on the positives, end your day with gratitude, it's going to help you sleep better. And you know what sleep helps with? Sleep improves executive function. So I don't remember, no pun intended, but I don't remember who typed in earlier that we have a hard time with working memory, right? And your brain works overtime when you're sleeping. You're sleeping, but your brain is working overtime. It is taking all of your experiences from the day and it's categorizing them. It's assimilating new knowledge with prior knowledge. It's formulating and solidifying your memories. So your brain is working while you sleep. And when you don't get into that deep sleep, then your executive function is negatively impacted. You're less focused. You have difficulties with your memory, especially your working memory. You have difficulty with your emotion regulation. So if you end your day with gratitude, then you're going to be less restless because negative thoughts keep you tossing and turning. But if you end your day and you go into sleep with positive thoughts, then it's more likely that it's going to be easier for you to fall asleep because you've let everything else go. So one thing you can do is you can keep a gratitude journal next to your bed, just a little journal. So you remember to just write down what you're grateful for that day or in general. And there are also a lot of gratitude prompts that you can use, that there are many online, but I have one gratitude prompt I want you to do tonight. And tonight in your gratitude journal, I want you to list 3 things that always put a smile on your face. And remember, when you end your day with that positive energy, with that positive mindset, it's going to help you get a better night's sleep. It's going to help you improve your focus, your memory, your emotion regulation, your relationships, and improve your executive function. Okay. So remember to do that tonight. At least 3 things that always put a smile on your face. All right, one last exercise I want you to do. And I want you to write down 5 cognitive skills or areas of executive function you would like to improve, or skills that you would like your child or your students to improve. And you can type them in the chat box if you'd like to. What are 5 cognitive skills or processes of executive function you would like to improve, or you would like your child to improve? Maggie says examples. Well, Percival says emotion regulation. Could be emotion regulation, could be focus, it could be prioritization, organization. It could be your ability to filter distractions. All right, go ahead and stop and give me some ideas, and Maggie some ideas as well. What are some of the things you said? Sergi said attention to the small details and be a better listener. Excellent. Michael said organization skills he wants to improve. Jeannie says focus and organization. A lot of you are saying organization, and maybe some of you aren't really sure what areas you would like to improve, because remember, there are foundational cognitive skills that we need to improve in order to improve executive function. Jeanette says she wants her son to improve organization, time management, and focus. Prudence says organization, just lost your communication for my child. Monique says impulsivity regulation. So you all have a lot of good ideas. If you are uncertain, what cognitive skill areas should you work towards improving yourself? Or maybe you want your child to improve certain cognitive skills, or your students, and you're uncertain. We have a couple of assessments available. And one is called Focus, which is a norm reference test of attentional control. It's computer-based. It takes 20 minutes. And at the end, we receive a full report that tells us how you performed compared to the performance of your peers. We also have the Brief available, which is a behavior rating of executive function. So 2 different assessments that allow us to pinpoint the cognitive skill areas that right now may be weak for you, but are required for strong executive function. And when we're making a plan, when we're setting goals for the year, it's important to know, what do we need to work on? And when we do an assessment, it allows us to develop that roadmap to success. If you would like to do one of those assessments with us, or both, then type in assessments and we will send some information to you, or we'll give you a call and talk to you about the assessments that are available. And they are about $50 a piece, and we do about a 30 to 40 minute follow-up to review the results and talk to you about those results and help you make a customized plan of action. And if you would like more information, or if you'd like to register for the assessments, just type in assessments. As I mentioned, they are $50 a piece. They are appropriate for both children and adults. With your webinar offer, you are going to receive one assessment for $50 and your second assessment at half price. So buy one, get one at half price. And again, they do include a 30 to 40 minute follow-up where we review the results with you and use that to customize your plan. Now, when we talk about a customized plan, we typically take that information and customize a play attention program, because we talked about all of these different areas, all of these different tips and strategies, these daily habits that you can start right now in order to improve executive function. And these are all important: the affirmations, the mindfulness, the breathing, the healthy eating. All of those habits are important because you are laying the foundation for a healthy brain. You are preparing your brain for learning. And once you prepare your brain for learning, then play attention can actually teach the skills that are required for strong executive function. And again, when we are developing these cognitive skills, strengthening these skill areas like focus, or task completion, or auditory processing, or filtering distractions, you are always using our body wave technology, which makes certain that you are actively engaged. Okay, you actually have to be paying attention in order to activate the cognitive skill. And so this makes certain that you get maximum benefit. Thank you, Chris. I know I'm running over. I'm going to try to end here, but thank you for coming, Chris. So we will talk about play attention and how we can customize a plan for you or your child or your clients in order to improve executive function. So again, all of these healthy habits we talked about today prepare the brain for learning, and play attention can teach the skills, directly teach the skills that are required for strong executive function. So we can put all of these daily habits together along with a customized play attention plan to really help you reach your goals, improve executive function, and stop working so hard. All right. I know many of you have to jump because I have gone for an hour. So I just wanted to talk about some next steps. Many of you have already typed in some next steps or some requests that you would like. If you want to start or expand your current program, then you can type in your phone number and one of our advisors will follow up with you in order to either help you start your Play Attention program, or if you would like to expand your program, we can talk about that. If you wanted to incorporate any of our mindful media player or our mindfulness activities, we can talk about that as well. Lori, thank you. I'm glad you're here from Canada, and we are internationally based. So if you would like to start your program in Canada, we do ship and support all of our clients worldwide. So if you would like to either start or talk about expansion, you can type in, Percival says she's Canadian too. You can type in your phone number. If you would like to do an assessment and you have not typed in assessment, or if you simply want more information about the assessments, just type in assessments and we'll follow up on that. If you would like to do a consultation, then type in consultation. And remember, if you do an assessment, then the consultation is actually included with your assessment. So if you want to do an assessment, and you can do an assessment if you're a current client as well, especially if you are maybe 20 hours into your training or 40 hours in, it's a good time to do a middle or a post evaluation. So you can type your phone number in to start your program or expand your program. If you'd like to do an assessment or have more information on the assessments, type in assessment. Remember, we'll follow up with the consultation. But if you don't need an assessment, you just want to go to the consultation and talk about your specific needs, type in consultation. Or if you want more information on Play Attention and you don't have time for a consultation right now, just type in webinar. The next webinar is Play Attention 101, and we are going to be talking about Play Attention, the educational foundation, and all of the cognitive skills that we address within Play Attention. So it is a very thorough Play Attention webinar. So again, if you don't have time for the consultation, but you would like to do another webinar, type in webinar, and we will make certain to get you registered. I do appreciate your time today. I appreciate your attention, and I do hope that these tips and strategies, these habits are things that you can incorporate into your life to reach your goals and to improve executive function. Thanks so much, everyone. You have a great afternoon, and I look forward to seeing you at a future consultation or webinar. Take care.